I'm having morning coffee in Ulaanbattor in one of the coffee shops close to the State Department store, and I thought I would stream a bit of daily life on a Saturday morning in Ulaanbattor, the 1st of October. Now, I'll be doing some more videos while I'm here with my friend Bayer. I think we'll be looking at a number of subjects that we'll be talking about, including maybe interviewing a few Russians that have come over the border into Mongolia, which we'll talk about. And as a preview, up until today, it's understanding across the border that they've had close to probably 4,000 Russians come in across the border into Mongolia, but what was unclear whether they're vehicles or individuals. But in the last 2 or 3 days, there's been a substantial increase of a lot of young Russian men coming into Ulaanbattor. Now they're on 30-day tourist visas, so it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of 30 days, because it'd probably be very difficult to get the visa extended with the amount of requests that would go in. So while I'm sitting here having an Americano and a coffee cake and enjoy the early morning. It's a cooler morning here. The fall temperatures are coming into Ulaanbattor, but still great walking around. It was 16 centigrades the other day. It's probably only about 8 or 9 right now. But so I'm sitting there having coffee and talking about Ulaanbattor and things that are happening. We can get a chance to view the Mongolians that are getting out on their Saturday. This trip I've been here 2 weeks, and I'm going to head out to the area of Tuve next week, closer province to the city of Ulaanbattor. But traffic in Ulaanbattor is extremely difficult. You know, for me to go even 6-8 kilometers the other day to a meeting took nearly an hour in the vehicle. So they got a big challenge here over the years to solve the traffic. Meantime, there's a lot of great things about Ulaanbattor that I can share with you. You know, you've got a city of 1.5 million, and average age is 27, 28, and just a vibrant city. Now, the area I'm in has a lot of the embassies are in the area. And so in this area, you get to see the Turkish embassy nearby, the French embassy is nearby. And I mentioned before that the Ulaanbattor's famous department store. I'll go shopping later on and pick a few gifts up for people back in Canada. But I'll tell you what I've noticed in the last 2 weeks since I've been in Ulaanbattor. Prices definitely have increased, and I think I've looked at the research, and it's been 14% increase in inflation. It's become very tough on many of the Mongolians. Now, if you want to talk about equivalent, what a minimum wage would be equivalent, and I'll talk in Canadian terms, I think minimum wage maybe be $1.30 an hour, the equivalent. And at the beginning of the video, I showed you my Americano and coffee cake. That would have been about 12,000 Turkic, or probably about $4.50 Canadian, so it's still pretty reasonable. The gas is becoming more expensive. They have a cheaper gas, which is probably $1 a liter equivalent in Canada. But I understand those gas supplies are quickly running out, and then there's a little more expensive ones that are getting into $1.20, $1.30, which becomes very difficult for many of the Mongolians to absorb all these additional costs. But they're great. younger, enthusiastic group that are always trying to better educate themselves. And one thing I found out in Mongolia is they love shopping. So I'm going to sit back for about a minute or two here, enjoy my coffee. We'll see what strolls by today. You may ask about people still wearing, some people are still wearing their masks here. COVID's still prevalent, but it's pretty well in control. I found that if I needed extra support or health or COVID testing, it was very efficient, very effective. But I've been fortunate not to have any issues at all. One of the hazards of walking around Ulaanbattor is the streets aren't even, due to the cold weather that upheavals everything and just uneven. So you have to be really aware of all your surroundings here, because you don't know what you're going to trip over. And that's probably the biggest hazard right now. Oh yeah, my favorite one is crossing the street. If I can show you that when you cross the street, it's actually, if green means go for us on traffic, it means maybe for the cars to stop. It's actually a bit of a dance to be crossing the road all the time. Doesn't matter if the lights are in your favor or not. You have to go between, and cars, quite frankly, they don't stop. They just, you have to maneuver around them. So, I've been out at night, out during the day all around Ulaanbattor, and even especially at night, even went out and never had a concern or fear about any sort of safety at all. It's actually, as soon as you ask for directions and they know you're Canadian or even North American, they want to be extremely helpful. Now, my friend Bayer and I, he's got Real Mongolia channel. Probably within a few days, when we get meeting, we're going to do a kind of a question and answer on Mongolia. We're going to sit down, and we had done one before for the channel. This time we can do it and make a list of all the top questions that people want to know about Mongolia, and I'll sit down with Bayer, and he can answer. He's pretty knowledgeable about politics, the internal areas, what's happening, the growth, the economics, so I'll be able to have a good conversation with him. The city is full of children and their families. It's very centered on children. It's people here are concerned to make sure that children get their education, and they're willing to sacrifice whatever they can in order to make sure that happens. Now, one observation, which is I've made many times, and I'll make it even in the city of 1.4 million people like Ulaanbattor, and even the smaller province and provincial towns, I have seen a rarity to see anybody on the streets. Now, there's occasional one I'll run across, what happens anywhere, but I'm talking about there's no tent cities, there's no large group of homeless. And I asked about that at one time, and I was told that because of the culture where they're kind of this need to kind of look after each other, especially within a family unit, no matter how desperate the situation is, the families will go to the extent they can to make sure their individuals looked after. And I think it's the same thing with many people that are not that are not well, or they're well looked after. Puts a strain in the healthcare system, but I know they do their best. I was walking up to the coffee shop, and about 3 minutes before I got to the coffee shop, there was a older man. He had fallen, and it looked like he was having an epileptic fit. It was just, he couldn't be stopping, and there was, by the time I got there, was 4 to 5 passerbys had him on the ground trying to help him out, and phoning for an ambulance right away. So it was, they were moving pretty quick to help this fellow. Also, I'm carrying, when I carry money around, especially going to the ATMs to get money out, and this is a shout out to my credit union in British Columbia, Prospera. I've been using the Prospera debit card in the most remote places now. Sometimes it works, but normally I'm getting success working anywhere with that, which is unusual. Because depending on the internet connections, getting money can be a little bit of a challenge. But I'm becoming the dinosaur because they're moving away from cash. And everybody's digitized here. They transfer money to each other within about 30 seconds. I've never seen it so quick. I know we have our electronic transfers, but I mean, this is extremely quick. And when we talk in more in depth about what's happening within Mongolia, they're becoming a digital economy, and they're using the model from Estonia in order to, within 5 to 6 years, transform into a total e-commerce and total digital transformation for all government services, all banking. Again, I can't say it enough as I finish off my coffee morning here. I can't begin to tell you, even on a colder Saturday morning like this, the amount of people that are out and the energy level that's in the city is always phenomenal. So go to Will Solo Travels and watch the other videos that I'll be posting, and everybody have a great day today.